All right, how's it going today, guys? I have a pretty fun topic to talk on today, and that's how I got started in entrepreneurship, what I'm doing right now, and what my parents got me started in it. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, follow the videos. I'm not a YouTuber, but that's what I'm supposed to say, I guess. Just to get started, basically, my dad has always been in construction, and he started doing that probably 30 years ago. He started working construction for his dad. They had a construction company. Then he eventually moved to New Zealand. I'm from New Zealand originally, actually. He married my mom, who's from New Zealand, moved over there for 4 years, worked in construction in New Zealand for a while, and it's hard to actually, the licensing and stuff in New Zealand, he would have had to go back to school and stuff, so they eventually moved back to Canada, and he started his own company. So that's what he's been doing my whole life, and I started working with him probably when I turned 13. I was homeschooled, which is awesome, by the way. I'm definitely going to talk about homeschooling, like, in a future video. But I was homeschooled, so I got to go to work super young, probably just because I was too annoying. My mom, I went through a bit of a phase of being an absolute brat. So when I started going for summers. I was work dad, and we started working for a company, Suncoast Enclosures, contracting out to them, so that was fun. So I've been working with my dad for about 8 years, and probably 6 of those years I was working full-time. I'm 21 now. I just kind of did school in the evenings and weekends, which actually worked out really well because, I don't know, I preferred to make some money, and it was just a lot of fun to work, and I didn't mind doing school in the evenings, especially since I was homeschooled, so that worked out really well. And after 8 years, I guess in the last year, so I call myself an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur, but I have to say, like, I definitely got quite the helping hand, like, step up compared to a lot of people, because my dad was already in the industry. I was working for him. And basically what I did is I just got to take over from what he was doing. So he was like a contractor. I was his laborer. Because I have a large family, I got to step into do what he was doing. So now I'm the contractor. I work by commission now instead of by the hour, which is really sweet. I've been doing that since February. I had to set up my own company, so all that was new. That was really fun. Learning how to do all of that. So that was a super fun aspect, just like learning how to set up a company and all that. And then my younger brother works for me. It's, again, awesome setup. The company pays for half of his hourly wage, and I pay for the other half, so it works out super well. Super chill for me. And I literally use the same work vehicle. Since my dad now works from home, I get to use the work vehicle we were using before, and the tools. So I basically got the business handed to me, which was super sweet. And so I've been doing that now for about almost a year. In February, it'll be a full year. So that's pretty awesome. I have to say, like, a lot of stuff given to me, which is really sweet. And and I thank my parents for that. That's awesome. But yeah, so that's the main thing. That's what I've been doing. That's the main capital builder. When it comes to like other entrepreneurship opportunities, I mean, I stock trade a lot. I do a lot of that. We got into that. Me and my dad together do that. We started doing that, last year, over a year ago now. So that's a lot of fun. Looking into the S&P 500 and how you can invest long term. All that is super exciting. I've talked about that before. Go check out that video. That's my previous video. I'll link to it in this one. And then I also, over the winter, because what ended up happening last year is I got a massive tax bill. So the company that I was working for kind of messed up on my tax returns. So instead of having my tax being taken off of each paycheck, that wasn't happening. So at the end of the year, when obviously I didn't actually have any money saved because you spend it throughout the year, I suddenly got like a tax bill for like $6,000 or $7,000, and I was like, okay, that's a lot of money that I do not have. How am I going to pay this now? And I kind of freaked out a little bit, and it was like just to go back a little bit more. I'm digressing a bit here, but go back in the story a bit more. I had a bunch of money saved up, probably close to over $10,000 saved up. And unfortunately for me, the first girl I dated, I thought the way to date a girl is spend as much money on her as possible. And I wanted to because I thought I loved her, right? And so I was just like spending money, impress her, make her happy kind of thing. And it was also in New Zealand, so plane flights over there was, you know, over almost $3,000, and then staying over there, all the things, like we were traveling, all the fun stuff, right? So it costs a lot, and I just kind of didn't think about it. I just was like, no, I got the 10 grand, I'm all good, no worries. And I got home and I pretty much spent 10 grand in like 2 months in a single trip. So, which is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I've gone on trips before where I've been able to pay for the cost of the flight and then, you know, maybe spend $1,000 for everything. And so it was a little extreme, and I'm not proud of that at all, because, you know, it set me back quite a bit. And so this was the year before, and then last fall, I was kind of like, a year ago, I was kind of like, what am I doing, man? Like, I've got no money. I just got this massive tax bill. How am I supposed to pay this off? Like, I can't afford to pay this tax bill. I got no money in my bank. And that's the time of year where work slows down. I think that entire year I made $30,000 for that entire year in work, which sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot. You know, after taxes, it's more like 25, and then, yeah, rent and everything definitely takes it down a bit. So it wasn't exactly a very profitable year for me, and I was kind of stressed out, and I was like, what am I going to do? And my relationship with God probably wasn't the best either that back then. It's definitely grown a lot since then, which I'm very thankful for. I was very stressed out. I was talking to my dad one day, and he was like, well, what are you doing, man? Like, you don't actually, they've been training me to be this entrepreneur, but like, I'm not actually putting my effort into stuff. Like, I go to work and I just kind of grind out the day, working by the hour, and I'm not really invested. I'm just there to make money. But even that, like, I'm not really interested in making money. The idea of making a lot of money hadn't really occurred to me, and it had occurred to me, but I didn't see the possibilities, right? You kind of don't, you hear about, oh, millionaires, but then you don't put that into perspective, and it's like, yeah, they're a millionaire. If they're making $1 million a year, here's how much they're making every month. Here's how much they're making every day. And I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah, they're a millionaire, but I'll get there eventually when it's sitting on, you know, $25 an hour kind of idea. It's like, yeah, sorry, actually, no. You're going to have to change up some stuff in work. So this, again, I've been working for the company as a laborer for at least 6 years full time now. So I was kind of like, what more, like, where can I grow? There's nothing I can do. I have no, I don't have, that was my job. I don't have like a degree. And there's a mistaken idea that you need a degree to get a good job. That's completely wrong. You need a degree to be a good employee, for sure. If you want to be a good employee somewhere. And even that, like, debatable. Employers like train their employees anyway, so they come out of university and now you're qualified to do an actual hands-on job is like kind of BS, in my personal opinion. And I didn't go to university because it's a waste of time and money. You can disagree with that. Please let me know why I'm wrong in the comments. But you definitely don't need to go to university, and if you're considering it and you don't actually have like a plan for your life, don't do it. Go read The College Scam by Charlie Kirk and try something else first. Try put your hand to a business or something. Try and be an entrepreneur first, and then if you actually do end up wanting a career, because I realize it's not for everybody. Some people do just want a stable career and a job that they can just go to. So again, big digression there. Sorry, guys. Back to the story. So we had like this long talk about my goals and stuff, and my dad was asking me goals, like, what am I going to do? And what am I going to do in 5 years? What am I going to do in 10 years? What's my plan? I had no plan, right? I'd broken up with this girl. I dated another girl. I broke up with her as well. So I was like, kind of like sworn off woman for a while. I was like, no, I don't want to get married for a while. And I'm just working this job that am not really enjoying at the time, and I don't really have any goals for. I'm just making like $25 an hour, which isn't terrible, but also the work was very seasonal. So, you know, you get 2 to 4 months off in the winter. It's a long time to go without work. So I was like kind of just floating, right? Living at home, not really contributing much. So it was like, but I was just floating, and I was like, I had no purpose. So he like talked to me, and he was like, I got hit with this massive cost, this massive tax expense. And he was like, you need to actually like try and do something. And I was like, you know what? I am going to try and do something. So I tried a couple of things. I tried to start a snow plowing business. I mean, that went horribly. I think I got one client, which was awesome. And then that entire winter, there was no snow at all. I think I had to plow his driveway like twice. I felt so bad because it was like, I printed up flyers, I knocked doors, I went through subdivisions talking to hundreds of people and ended up getting one client. So that kind of sucked. That didn't work out very well. And then I was like, okay, what else can I do? I was like, I want to be able to do work during the day if work comes up at my other job because it's, it pays good. What can I do in the evenings for work? And I was like, oh, restaurants. I could be a waiter. I had no experience in hospitality whatsoever. I just wrote up a resume. I was like, I've done construction and I want to be a waiter and I want to be a server. I didn't know how it worked. I'd never been in the industry. So I started going around and giving out my resume to restaurants. I mean, I went to tons of restaurants all over Kelowna. Every couple nights I'd drive out there and be out there all evening handing out resumes and meeting with managers. And nobody wanted to hire me because I had no experience. And they were like, nah, sorry. I mean, even Montana's man, like Montana's didn't want to hire me. And they've got to be like one of the most chill. They do not care about your experience as much, right? Like it was like nobody would hire me. So I was kind of running out of restaurants and I was like, what am I going to do? And I also kind of discovered that if you don't have experience in a restaurant, you can't just be trained to be a server. You need some experience. It's a difficult job. And I didn't realize that. I didn't even know what other jobs were available, right? Like I'm not going out to eat every night. I don't know what's out there. So turns out a lot of restaurants prefer to put you in like a host position, which I didn't realize the difference. I didn't realize, so I was asking to be a server. They would put on, people with no experience as a host. But finally, I went to this one restaurant, by the way, massive shout out, Derek's Steakhouse in downtown Kelowna. Insane place. I went there. It's like the nicest restaurant in Kelowna by far. It's a steakhouse. It's a high-end steakhouse. The owner, Ross Derrick, is a great guy. He owns several restaurants. An amazing owner, like manager. And then the manager at Derek's, Mike Emery, such a great guy. Like the best manager. I haven't worked at any other restaurants, but I can confidently say he was the best manager of any restaurant that I've worked at. But no, he was amazing. Solid manager. I went there, I met with him, and he kind of, I guess, thankfully just kind of took a risk. And he was like, well, we can start you not as a server, but because it was a fancier restaurant, and this was the restaurant, I was like, I'm not going to get a job here. Like, it's nice. And they were asking like minimum 3 years experience for servers. And I was like, I'll try it anyway. I went there, met with him, and he said basically, yeah, I will hire you, as a junior server, quite a server, but you get to go out to tables, you're waiting, you're making tableside Caesar salads and the desserts and all that. And I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, let's do it. I was into that. At this point, I was desperate and I was praying, and God totally blessed me with this job. So I started working there 7 days a week, which was intense. It's long evenings working and serving there. And I was like, I'm just going to put in as much effort as I possibly can because I like the job and I want to prove myself to them, and I want to be able to like work my way up. So I was just effort. If there was downtime in the restaurant, I was cleaning something. I was organizing things that hadn't been organized for years. I was turning the place as trying to make it nice, trying to keep busy no matter what. And people noticed right away. Like after my first day, they were like, oh, wow, you're a hard worker. And that was awesome. Like I hadn't really, the idea, I'd never really tried to work really hard before. So like I was a hard worker, but I wasn't like dedicated to the job, if that makes sense. So I was like, oh, sweet. Okay. This is great. I enjoy the praise, right? So I was like, all right, sweet. I'm dialing in. I'm going to keep locking in and just work hard. So I grinded it out at that place, and I worked really hard. Within a couple of weeks, my pay was raised. After a month, I think they raised my hourly pay, and after 6 months of working there, I eventually went down to 5 nights a week instead of 7, which was nice. After 6 months of working there, I left because it was spring and I was starting up my construction job again, and I'd actually managed to pay off my tax bill, and the owner had even told me that if I wanted to, I could come back to work for sure, and I could work they were definitely hoping I could work my way up to server, which was awesome. Like I was, they were excited about the idea of me doing that too, so that was super awesome. And honestly, such a great work environment. If you're in Kelowna and you need a good restaurant, you need to go check them out. They have the best food and the best staff in the world. So I got back to work in construction. I was like, okay, now I'm going to be back at $25 an hour. And then my dad actually said, hey, I'm going to be doing more sales and project managing. Why don't you take over what I was doing? I was like, sweet, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I started doing what my dad had been doing, and that was contracting. So I started contracting, and so I own the business now. Even though my client is, I only have one client, Suncoast Enclosures, and I contract all of my work out to them. But I own the business now, I'm making decent money, and I've been doing that. And so for the last 8 months, 9, 10 months now, that's what I've been doing, and it's been absolutely awesome. And I've been actually able to try and organize a bit more of a business kind of thing. I have to do invoices, I have to do all that fun stuff, and I get to work with somebody who's like working under me, which is awesome because it's giving me experience as a leader and a manager, and I'm definitely not the best at that. And I get to really just practice running a business a bit in a very controlled and easy way, and actually makes good money while I'm doing it. So that's been really fun. That's just kind of the history behind how I got into entrepreneurship. And I realized I probably went way over time for this video, but I really wanted to give you guys like a little bit of the backstory and the plans, like the plans going forward. I mean, there's so many ideas. Content creation, I'm expecting this to blow up, to really want to gain a lot of followers, and I want to start making a living off of content. That's a big plan for me. Another one is to be able to buy a house, get into real estate investing. That's a huge one for me. Those are the two main plans. Obviously, my long-term trading, stuff like that, that is going well, hopefully too. And yeah, sometimes, guys, I think you gotta motivate yourself into taking actually a bit of a leap of faith and actually trying to do something. Really set your hand to do something awesome. Trust God that He's got the best in store for you, which is what I did. I had to trust God to actually get me a decent job, and then just work hard. And I think when I really decided I'm gonna work hard, I realized, oh, actually, it's easy to make more money. You just have to work hard. You just have to actually go out and do it. It's still a struggle. Like this morning, I did not want to film content. I could not be bothered, and it's now just after 12, and I forced myself to get down here and film the content. But now that I'm doing it, I enjoy it, and I'm ready to go and film a ton today. So yeah, have fun, guys. Subscribe if you made it all the way to the end. I don't know if anyone actually watches my videos to the end, so comment. Let me know if you did. Like, drop like a entrepreneur in the comments or something, and let me know if you made it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one tomorrow.